Okay, so I'll start again. What is focus? Focus is simply the art of directing your energy towards one clear goal. Ooh, don't like that. Right, okay. Um, so most people get distracted by everything. Successful people master attention. So basically, all that's trying to say to you is that we do get sidetracked very easily, especially men doing what we do. Um, but the successful ones have actually mastered the art of getting less distracted by everything that's going on around them. Okay, which we're going to go into. Okay, so why focus matters in our business. In our business, distractions are everywhere. Messages, social media, and life. So we're going to break that down. We actually use social media to do our job, yeah? So we're on the phones, and it's very easy when a message comes up from a team chat or when it comes up from an auntie or an uncle or son or whatever, and you start going into that, and then eventually you go on to something else, and then you've actually forgotten what you were doing in the first place. So we're very easily um, distracted by our own job, basically, because we need social media to do our job. So we need to put things in place to stop that from happening. And then, of course, we've got life. We've got family, some children, grandchildren that come over. There's all sorts of things that go on in our life. There could be anything. Work is there as well. I think we all work, so so that could happen. You could actually be asked to do some overtime. You could be held back because you didn't finish something in time, or you've had to go in early. Something that's something slightly out of the ordinary. So you need to factor that into your day-to-day life. The focus is the difference between activity and productivity. So you can be very busy like I said to you, when we're on social media, we're very busy, but we're actually not doing anything because we've decided we've gone down a scroll hole or something's happened. So, um, even though we think we're busy, we're not. So we've got to be very careful on that. And a quote down the bottom is focus on what moves the needle. So instead of just focusing on what everybody else is doing on social media, you need to start focusing on what you're doing. Okay, so the science of focus. Our brain can only concentrate deeply on one thing at a time. Everybody that says they can multitask is actually telling fibs. Okay, you can multitask, you can do three or four things at once, that's a given. But what you can't do is concentrate fully on all four things. You can only fully concentrate on one thing. There's also what we call dopamine traps. So these are things that spike your interest, but also a chemical in your brain that gives you a good feeling. That's like notifications, scrolling, and what we call comparisons. So when you compare yourself to other people, then you start getting into dangerous territory. And how to make good on your focus is to train focus like a muscle. So it's like going to the gym, repetition builds strength. So when we talk about what we're going to do to help us with focus, it is going to be little and often. So when you go to the gym, you don't go to the gym and you don't go and do everything all at once. You don't do your shoulders, your arms, your legs, your chest, abs, and everything like that, and then expect good results. What you do is you break that down into smaller parts and you concentrate on those smaller parts, and then they start to get bigger and you start to build more strength. That's what that is all about. So common focus killers. So notifications on your phones. All right. We use these all day, every day. Okay. But what I'm going to say to you is that when you work in your business, we're going to work our business in 30 minutes to 45-minute blocks. And in that 30 to 45 minutes blocks, you turn all your notifications off. The easiest way to do that is airplane mode. Just put your phone onto airplane mode and work with your head down. You're going to have a list of things that you need to do within that time frame, and you're going to get them done. Then once you've finished, you turn your notifications back on, because then that's all the people coming back to you to reply. You've also got comparing yourself to others, like I said to you before. So what that does is that just gives you procrastination. That's the word I was looking for. So when you start comparing yourself to others, you start thinking, am I good enough? Am I, experienced enough? Am I this, that, and the other? And of course, that then you're not focusing on what you're doing. You start to procrastinate and thinking, should I or shouldn't I? And as soon as you start doing that, then that in that 30 to 45 minutes, guess what? You just lost that time because you've just doubted yourself. So stop comparing yourself to others. This is your own journey. Okay, we're here to help you, but at the end of the day, this is your own journey. So make sure that you're doing this by yourself, for yourself. Okay. Lack of clear goals. We haven't done goal training yet, but these goals don't have to be the big ones. They don't have to be, I want to stand on stage as $1 million income earner. These can be just things like, right, I need to earn £200 a month. I need to um, build a team of 3 people. I need this. It's the smaller things. In fact, it could be even smaller than that. It can be even like, I need to make 5 conversations a day. Okay, because that 5 conversations a day is going to build up over time, and eventually you're going to get people not just talking to you, but you can be able to convert them into team members, business partners, um, or they'll join you later on. So that goal needs to be very clear, because where you are now obviously isn't where you want to be. So let's get a goal achieved, goal in place that you're going to achieve. And a lot of them are business orientated, and breaking down basically what your DMO is and doing that every single day. Because once you reach that goal, then you start to get the flourishing of your fruits, as it were, and then you make another goal saying, right, so I've made 3 people, now I want another 3 people. And with the first 3 people, I want them to get 3 people. But so this is how it transpires. So you're always improving, um, just through clear goals. All right. So, and saying yes to everything and everyone I've put in there. I'm very guilty of doing that. So if somebody says, can I do something for them? I will do. Um, Sometimes it takes longer than I expected. So then I lose out on my own time. So there is a bit at the bottom there saying not protecting your time. So when things like that happen, you need to protect your time. So you can say, yes, I'll help you with something until a certain time, until 8 o'clock at night. And then at 8 o'clock at night, I don't do anything else. I put all my tools down. I put all my, if you help cleaning the house, I put all that down. At 8 o'clock is my time. 8 till say 10, bang. Nobody comes in the room. Nobody bothers me. This is what I need to do to make this business work. So eventually we can get other people, pay other people to do the work that I was going to do. All right. So don't say yes to everybody. Make sure you're protecting what you call protecting your time. So other big leaders in our business, their family knows exactly what time they're working every day. And there's like family time, there is work time, So like your 9 to 5 job, say, I just call it that because it's easier to say that. Your 9 to 5 job, you come back, you've got family time, and then you've got work business time. Now that could be at the end of the night or it could be first thing in the morning. What I've been finding, I don't know if you've been on the IMVs, is a lot of the high income earners are saying on there that they do it first thing in the morning. And the reason that they do it first thing in the morning is because they've no idea how the day is going to go. So if things are going wrong during the day, they've already done the business. So it's not going to affect it. You know what I mean? So you can get that done. So if you don't make it onto a call because you've been held up or whatever, they are um they've already done it. So they can sleep a little bit easier. Obviously, if you've done all the work in the morning and then you find you still got 2 hours in the evening, guess what? You just repeat what you did in the morning. So you're getting two for one. Yeah. And that's ideal. Okay. So how to build focus. Set clear daily goals, 3 tasks only a day. So these don't all have to be business, but these are things that can help you with your business. So say one of your goals is, right, say you have to do I don't know, say you have to make tea, right? Um, your goal is to make tea at 5 o'clock. Instead of sitting down watching the football, is make tea at 5 o'clock. You've eaten it by half five, 6 o'clock, or 6 to half 7, depends on what you're making. If you're making a fancy tea, then it's obviously 6 to half past. But anyway, if you're just making a nice, I don't know, regular meal, they'll say 30 to 45 minutes. You normally rough that down by 6 o'clock, and then you can start your business, or you can have a sit down chat with a couple of glasses of wine or a couple of beers, and then you can start your business at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. All right. So it doesn't have to be business. The other goal could be, right, so I need to make 5 conversations every day. All right. Or I need to do my 3 posts on social media every single day. And then once you've done that, then you move on to the next one and the next one and the next one. Okay. Now we create focus blocks of 30 to 45 minutes with no distractions. Now, I know sometimes that's easier said than done, but that's what I'm saying. If you're doing it first thing in the morning, guess what? Everything's quiet first thing in the morning. So people aren't going to be annoying you because they're still in the bed. So you can get it done. You know what I mean? So you're just getting up 45 minutes before everybody else and you're getting on with your business. Or you do that in the evening. Or you can do two lots. You can do a bit in the morning and 45 minutes in the evening. Okay. Because what you find is, and I've found over the years, is that you can't focus and concentrate for long periods of time. You need to have that break. And people are sitting there all day, for 8 hours trying to concentrate for 8 hours solid, and you just can't do it. You can't do everybody that's driven here, as soon as you start driving more than an hour, you start to lose concentration. Yeah, that's why they always tell you to stop driving after 2 hours and to stretch your legs, get the blood flowing again, but also just it just interrupts that concentration cycle. Only takes 5 minutes and then you go back to it. My watch actually tells me to stand up and move around. So when I'm sitting there and I'm working away and I don't realize what I'm doing, then all of a sudden my watch will go off and it's telling me to stand up and walk around. Okay, once I've done that, I come back and lo and behold, I'm not in that drain, as it were, that you just, keep focusing and you're not getting anywhere. You've actually had like a mini reboot, and they're really good. It says here, use the 5 minute rule, start small, and momentum will carry you forward. So um, there's nothing we will never ever teach you to do everything all at once, okay? Because that's just too much. But what you need to do is you need to find your first 5 minute things that you're going to do. All right. In your DMO, that'll be in there somewhere, something that you can do for 5 minutes, and then you can build on that. So you're doing 5 minutes today. You can do another 5 minutes, you can do another 5 minutes, and before you know it, you're doing your 45 minutes. And that doesn't have to be just one subject, that can be many subjects. What people tend to do, and it's very daunting, is if you try and do everything at once, like I said. So if you try and do that full DMO all in one, it's going to be hard work because you think you're not going to get anywhere, and you're like, what are they? Three stories. So your three stories, by the time you've done that, by the time you've thought about it, by the time you've got the pictures together, by the time you put the writing on it, by the time you put some music on it, guess what? You just you just wasted all that time. And by the time you finish that, you don't want to do anything else. So don't do all your stories at once. Don't do all your social media. Spread it out through the day. Spread out everything, if you can. But if you can't, then what I suggest is that you do something for 5 to 10 minutes and then do something else for 5 to 10 minutes and then do something else for 5 to 10 minutes. And even put an alarm on your phone. We do a blitz in the morning. Um, Debbie Courtney does a power hour, which is different. Um, Dawn does a blitz. Katie does a blitz. So at 7 o'clock in the morning, there's a blitz, and 10 o'clock there's a blitz, and they are 10 minutes of music, but for each part of your DMO, your IPAs. So just break everything down and just do something for 10 minutes and then do something else. Get that alarm going, get the countdown timer on. You don't have to have music distracting you. The best thing to do in the world is don't have something that distracts you. Okay. I work in practical silence. I don't have any music going. I don't have anything else going because I want to fully concentrate. So when we say we can only concentrate on one thing at once, that's exactly what I do. Dawn, on the other hand, she's got TV going, she's got radio going, she's got the dogs barking, she's got everything going on and working away. And I just can't, yeah, I just can't do it. That's why we have to have separate offices. That's how she works and good for her, but I just can't do it. I'd rather concentrate, focus on what I've got to do for 10 minutes, stand up, come back, do something else. And then you're not overwhelmed. And the one thing that it took me a long time to learn is review. Review everything that you've done during the day. Okay. What's worked and what hasn't. All right. Because you don't want to repeat the ones that haven't worked, and you want to repeat the ones that do work. Now, in our business, there's lots of things that you don't know if it's worked or not. That's the problem. Um, when I first started, I kept asking the question, when do you know? When do you know? Um, and sometimes with some of the things that we've got to do in our DMOs, there is no answer. You just got to keep going. Um, you can change things up a little bit to make it a little bit fresh and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, what we are taught to do works. So all we have to do is just keep emulating that. All right. But all we do is we just change parts to make it more personal to us. Um, and um, yeah, I think that's about it for that one, really. We don't want to flog a dead horse. So focus in action. What we're going to do is we're going to recognize who is showing laser focus right now. All right. Now, the people that are showing laser focus are actually going to tell us that they're showing laser focus because I don't sit next to you in the office to see if you're doing it. Okay. But you're going to practice. And like I said to you before, I want to see laser focus for 5 minutes to start with. Okay. No distractions, nothing going on around you. Yeah. And then I want you to write down how it went. Okay. So, like I said to you, I know some people just jumped on, but we said at the beginning, you pick a time in the day. Now that could be first in the morning, it could be at night time, it could be in the middle of the day, whatever suits you, that you've got to stay consistent for every day. And it's not just 5 days a week, it's 7 days a week. All right. The only thing that changes is possibly how much you do in that time frame, but you've always got to be doing something. And then everybody in your family knows that that's the time that you're working. Now, some people have got a desk and they don't go anywhere near that desk until it's time to work. And once they're at that desk, kids know, partners know, friends know that they're working. Okay. I get that every Sunday. We have the grandkids round. Um, so obviously I've done a couple of hours before they come in because by the time they get to the house, it's about 10 o'clock. So by that time, I've done a fair chunk of work. Um, and then have the day with the grandkids. And then at 8 o'clock at night, bush, they know that I'm going into the office. And as soon as I'm in the office, yeah, they can come in and sing that, but they know that I'm working. All right. And then as soon as they hear the Zoom calls, that's it. They're banned from the room. The last thing you want is the kids jumping on the screens and you know, it shows that we're real, that's for sure, but it just distracts you. So, okay. So after tonight, so obviously we've got the weekend, so I'm not going to get you to do anything over the weekend, but on Monday, starting on Monday, I want you to recognize that you're going to do a 5 minute, at minimum, 5 minute of laser focus. Okay, nothing. All right, on a specific subject on your DMO, and I want you to figure out how it made you feel, how how much you achieved, if it was more or if it was less than if you needed music and distractions on, okay? Celebrate the small wins that come from your consistent focus. Okay, so the feedback from this, okay, so we're going to get the feedback from your Monday, Tuesday. We want, and then no, how do I shut her off? So yeah, so then we can start celebrating those small wins amongst our group. Okay. So at the moment, we're doing some work, all right, but nobody knows what we're doing. Okay. So from now on, what we need to do is we need to share. We don't have to share your life story, but just share what worked for you and what didn't work for you. And then we can celebrate, that you managed, before this focus group, you didn't manage to do 5 messages in a day, and now you're doing 5 messages in a day because you're concentrating on it and you're not letting anything else um, take away that focus. Also, what is a really good idea is getting an accountability partner. All right, you don't need to speak to that person every day, but what would be really good is if you had somebody that's on the same level as you or just slightly higher, so you're both going through the same thing. And then every midweek you check in with each other. This isn't part of you don't have to put this on the group. This is between you and your accountability partner. But basically, what you say to each other in the middle of the week, you say, right, I'm going to do, say you're going to do, I'm going to do 10 Ask the Questions, 5 FAMs every single day. Um, and what are you going to do? And then they'll say, well, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do 20 Ask the Questions and I'm going to do 5 FAMs every single day, 7 days a week. Right, okay. So next Wednesday, we'll check in with each other and see if we've done that. All right. Now you've got this person now that you're accountable for, because not only are you accountable for something else we're going to talk about in a minute, you're also now accountable to somebody else in the group. And an accountability partner is absolutely amazing, okay, because you push each other. Because once you get to that goal, you make another one. And then you keep making them and you keep improving. And you keep pushing each other. But it's got to be somebody within your um, where you are in the business, so how much time you can spend on it and stuff like that. So people that work horrendous shifts need to stick together because they're going to push each other, whereas somebody that's only doing a part-time job, they've got a lot more time, so it's very frustrating when they can do a lot more in the week. So okay, so your challenge is to pick one goal this week and commit to it fully. All right. So I said to you before, your goal is I'm going to add somebody to my business. All right. That's not a bad goal. And then in what time frame? So I'm going to add somebody into my business within the next 2 weeks. All right. That's your goal. How are you going to achieve that goal? You've just worked it down. How many ask the questions? How many follow-ups is that going to take to do that? Right, okay, that's what I need to do every single day. And by the time the end of the 2 weeks is up, I'll have somebody else in my business. All right. Put that to your accountability partner. Your accountability partner is now doing exactly the same. Guess what? We've now got two more people into the business within 2 weeks. Right. So focus on on the vision. Reconnect with your why. So we did the why training before, and we said um, you need to go levels deep. Okay. And this is why you need to go levels deep because it'll keep your focus um, going forward. All right. Because what normally happens is we can say, "Oh, you're going to focus on something," especially after a training, and that happens for a week, and then a couple of days go past, and something comes along, and you think, "Oh my God, I can't do it," and then eventually you don't come back to it. All right, but if you've got a strong why, then you will do. So when something happens, you might miss a day, but your why will bring you back. Whereas if you don't have that strong enough why, it's not going to bring you back. You're just going to keep procrastinating. Before you know it, you're going to be really worried about coming back. So reconnect with that why. That's why that training was there. And that's why we wanted you to go levels deep because it needs to be strong. All right. You cannot do this because, oh, I want to travel more. That's great. This will help you travel more for sure. But why do you want to travel more? Why do you want to experience more? Why do you want to get away from whatever? Oh, it's because of I don't actually like the job I'm in, or I don't like this, that, and the other. And then, or I want to prove something to my children, or I want to do this. All right. That's when you start thinking, right, that's going to keep me a bit more focused. Okay. Because focus is a discipline. Like I said to you before, it's a muscle that you need to work on. Okay. It doesn't just come along naturally. You've got to work on it. Um, Ask, what are you building this business for? Ask yourself that every single day. Okay. Am I building this business because I was told to? Am I building this business because I know that in this compensation plan that I'm going to be better off, that which means my family's going to be better off, that we're going to be able to experience more, do more, and work this business around a time frame that suits instead of having to do 9 to 5. Yeah. So ask yourself, what are you building this business for? And you're building this business so you're not where you are today. You're building it for where you want to be tomorrow. Focus isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters. Okay. So um don't think that, oh, if I do a reel 3 days a week, that's going to be me more focused. No, what's going to be more focused is having more conversations each day. Reels and stuff like that, social media stuff, which we'll go on to um, and other presentations are brilliant. They absolutely are. But people spend too much time on them. Okay, this is a business about talking to people, talking to each other, talking to people. All right. The more you talk to people, the easier it is for you to share this business with them. Um, and easier it is for them to share the business with other people. Yeah. It's like, every time you talk, special referrals. Um, how many times have you been talking about the local football club or an amazing meal in a restaurant or what was on in the pictures? I wouldn't bother going to see that. Or that was absolutely amazing in 3D. You've got to get yourself down there to that picture house and see, crikey, whatever it is, Avatar 2, whatever, right? Okay. You would say that. But people don't seem to say too much about the business. Okay. Um, So you need to start getting out there and speaking to more people. Vision fuels discipline. Discipline protects your focus. All right. Again, discipline is learnt. Some people are quite, are quite self-disciplined, but they've learnt that skill from an earlier age. If we haven't had that self-discipline before, then it's a little bit harder, but you still can do it. No matter what age you are, you still got that chance to do that self-discipline. What it is, though, is like I said to you before, it's just breaking it down. It's very easy to say that I'm not disciplined because I'm trying to do four things all at once. Okay. Just do one thing at once and then change and then change and then change. And you'll find that not only will you get through more stuff, you'll actually be getting the rewards for it because you're not distracted. And if you're not distracted, that means you're giving it your full 100%. So that means that you're going to get better at it. If you're distracted all the time, you don't know that you're good or bad because you don't focus. You're just going through the motions. All right. So don't go through the motions, be completely focused. So staying focused when life gets bad. Okay, so accept that distractions will come and plan for them. All right. We will do a bit on time management. Don't worry, it won't be a full hour. It will be virtually 10 minutes on time management. But basically, you need to get systems in place, calendars, routines, and boundaries. All right. I have Google Calendar on mine, color coded, very easy. I know when I'm working, my 9 to 5, because that's red. I know when I'm having family time, so on a Sunday afternoon, or yeah, from 10 till 8, I've got the kids and we do stuff together. But don't forget, even though you've got family time, you're still answering messages and stuff like that. You're not completely off grid, but you're not going out there specifically asking questions and that. You've already done that, excuse me, beforehand, and you know that you go back to that at 8 o'clock. So um that's a routine and your calendar. So your routine is based off your calendar, yeah. So your routine for me is getting up in the morning. So I get up in the morning to watch my IMV. I'm now contemplating getting up even earlier to do the work, so then I don't have to worry about it during the day, and then I could concentrate on my 9 to 5 job. And boundaries. Boundaries are so important. Everybody in your household needs to know when you're working and stop asking you to do stuff for them. Okay? Don't be, you're not going to be sat there for 6 hours. You can't say, oh, sorry, I can't, I can't unscrew this lid for you because I'm in my work thing for 6 hours, but I'll do it afterwards. It's not that, but just, and when people ask you to do extra stuff that's going to limit your business, you've really got to think about what's more important. Okay, but that's down to you. It says here motivation gets you started, which it very does. The motivation we had when we first started in the business was sky high. Um, Unfortunately, sometimes that drops, especially when you're doing the same thing over and over again. But the focus will keep you going. Okay, so everything that we're learning now about the focus will keep you actually on that journey to what we call greatness. All right, we've got to start thinking about it's going to take us to greatness. It's not going to be um, oh, we're going to get there someday. Okay, we need to start having that positive mental attitude. And every time you feel scattered, just return to your why. It is so important. And to put your why down onto your post-it notes, have them around the rooms. So every time you feel that you're going to, I can't be bothered, just look at that and remember why we're doing this. Okay, so the successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus. And that was from the man himself, Bruce Lee. Right, our call to action. Okay, this is what we're going to do. I would start it over the weekend, but I'm not going to make you start it over the weekend, but I would start it over the weekend. You've got a little bit more sometimes, well, some people have got a little bit more time over the weekends. So pick a goal. Okay. Now, we said at the beginning, it was three things that you needed to do. Okay. So what my goal would be something to do with our business, something to do with your 9 to 5, and something to do with your home. Okay. Ah. Because they all interlink. All right. So I'm going to finish work on time so I can come home, spend 2 hours with my family, then start 2 hours on my business. Bang. That's my goal. Block focus time daily. So your focus time is not more than 45 minutes. Okay. But what you can do is, if you're giving yourself 2 hours to do the business, because that's all you've got, break it down so you have a break. Yeah, you go off and make yourself a cup of tea or walk around the garden or do something other than that and then come back to it. So then you recharge and focus. Unfortunately, it's just like being at school. All right, when we had breaks at school, yeah. You didn't want to be doing maths all day, you didn't want to be doing English all day, you didn't want to be doing geography all day. We mixed it all up. We gave you a few breaks so you didn't have to concentrate, but you could give it your all when you're in that class. Okay. Until you got double French, and then that was just a no-go for everybody. But unfortunately, that's just the way things are. All right. And I want you to share the progress in this chat because when we focus together, we grow together. All right. Now that's a big thank you from me for sitting there listening to me for all this time. Any questions, you should all be able to unmute yourself. So if you've got any questions, please share. And hopefully this time I've actually stopped sharing so you can actually see me. I know it might not be a pretty sight, but you're not seeing the slides. It's the first time I've managed to remember it. I think it's because I'm on the laptop, so it's a bit different. So any questions on that?
I'm the world's worst at staying focused. I'll be doing something, all of a sudden something will flash up in the corner. It's like TikTok, and it's
Yeah,
like, oh, what's that? Then you go back to that,
yeah.
and then Instagram or something else. So I'm going to try and like pause them and then just concentrate on.
Like I say, it doesn't have to be for hours upon end. Just pause everything or put everything on airplane mode for 30 minutes.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think it's called being nosy,
Yeah.
not focused. Mhm.
It's FOMO. It's absolute FOMO because I get that all the time. I'm at work, I'm in the office typing away, and then all of a sudden my phone beeps and it's somebody in the chat, and I'm like, oh, I really, I really want to get involved in that. And then something else comes up, and this is me doing my day job, and I'm like, oh. So now I have to turn my phone off or turn it around so I don't see it, or it's going to get really bad. But yeah, you've got to just have that time. You've got to make that time during your
Yeah,
day.
it's get the blinkers on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's totally getting blinkers on and just yeah, and it is just for that. You'll be surprised how much you get done in that time frame when you've blocked everything else out. All right, like I say, as soon as I moved from upstairs and moved downstairs, well, it's a bit extreme at the moment because I'm in a different country, but to get away from Dawn's typing and things like that. But it just for me it makes more sense. Um, and you'll find that all the top income earners they do that. They have specific times of the day for specific things that they do, and it's not just our business. It's in businesses all over the world. They have to have those specific times where they are just laser focused. Because if they don't have them, then the day just gets away from them. You know what I mean? And you start off, well, this should only take 2 hours today, and it took 4 hours, which meant that's 2 hours taken from something else. So don't get me wrong, like your big income earner, they're not just laser focused on the business, they're also
Yeah,
dreaming
and I think
ahead.
what come out there is like stay focused, and if you do get distracted, just think of your why. Why did you join the business? What is it that attracted it to the business?
Yeah. At the end of the day, you've got to achieve your goal.
Yeah.
Whatever your goal is, and please be small. You know, you've got your big goals. Please have your big goals, but you also got your small goal as well. Make sure you want to achieve that. You can't achieve that quickly enough to keep you motivated if you keep getting distracted by TikTok or football or whatever. You know, you've got to make that sacrifice. We call it, it's not a huge sacrifice to miss um I don't know, Leighton Orient playing Fulham. But you know what I mean? It's just you got to make you got to say to yourself what's more important. Because if you don't make that sacrifice, you're not going to achieve anything. If you're not going to achieve anything, you're not going to change anything. If you don't change anything, you're back to where you were at the beginning, so you might as well not have started there. So let's not do that. Let's start saying, right, this is achievable. I can achieve this. I've got all my mates around me. They're all doing the same. We can achieve this, and we're going to achieve it. And we're making that pact as in this group that we are going to achieve a small goal. We're going to stay focused on that goal until it's achieved, and then we're going to share it into the chat. The chat next week is going to have to start being a little bit more of a chat,
Hmm.
right? That's what it's there for, okay? We can't help each other. Like I say, I'm not there all day. I can't be in that chat all day. But if we start putting stuff in there saying, right, well, this has worked, guess what? It'll work for somebody else, so they can then do it, yeah? And then we're achieving something then. So let's all start just putting bits in there. It can be a little bit of a joke and stuff in there as well, you know, just to make it a little bit light-hearted. We don't mind that. It's not serious, but obviously when we're talking business, that's when it starts getting serious. All right, so just have
Mhm.
a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and we'll see what's working, not working. See if people have started with focus at 5 minutes and have gone to 10 minutes, or if people are going straight into 30 minutes or 45 minutes, um, and see how you get on. Like I say, I want you to actually write down what you achieve when you're not focused. So just be normal, like you have been, and then put your timer on. And in that timer, that's when you be focused. Okay. And airplane mode on, head down. We call it, it's not monk mode because monk mode is like Fraser says monk mode a lot, but that's when you know, that's 6 months is monk mode. All right. This is just half an hour. I don't want you going to full monk mode and you know blocking out the whole world for 6. Well, you could do. You'll be surprised how much you get on, but then you won't be part of the chat because you know you're in monk mode. All right, so let's help each other on that one as well. Is there anything else? Anything else being brought up?
No, I think it all makes a lot of sense, Julian. It really does, because at the end of the day, we've all got goals we want to achieve. So, the only way you're going to achieve it is by putting in the effort and so forth. I
Yeah,
mean, what works for me is I'm usually out all day anyway. So, I watch all the training videos in the daytime, and then when I get home, then I've got some time. I put it all into action. That's when I go onto the Facebook groups. I start talking to people. I start participating. Um, and yeah, I do the most important part. So training in the day, and then in the evening, the action and so forth. And that works best. Yeah, it works for me.
yeah, for sure. It sounds like a good idea. Good way of doing it.
Yeah. I mean, some of us are good at multitasking, but I'm not always great at multitasking. So
Well, Alex, I've told you already in the presentation. It's there in black and white. Multitasking.
yeah.
You can't fully concentrate, even though you think you can.
Yeah.
So are these trainings making sense to everybody? Is
Mm,
everybody, you're
yeah.
not scared to say, I don't understand, or I don't feel comfortable or something like that. Is every-
Yeah, they are making sense. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot to take in, don't get me wrong. They do make sense. With me, I gotta, even though we've had the trainings, when they've been recorded and they've been put in the groups, I've got to watch them over and over again before it sinks in. Um, yeah, that kind of works. Um, because if I just watch it once or when we're on the live call, it won't sink in straight away.
Yep, yep.
So yeah, I've got to keep on watching it over and over and over again. Yeah. So, but yeah, quite recently I've changed a lot of things around. I was doing it the wrong way, but um, I've now started going into the groups on Facebook, like your cruise groups and your retirement early groups, all these sort of ones, and they're starting to work a little bit more because I'm getting responses.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's working a little bit better that way. I did it another way and it wasn't working before.
Yeah, no, that's good. And thanks for sharing as well.
No worries.
We want to be able to speak freely about things that aren't going right as well as things that are going right because everybody's very good at saying, "Oh, this isn't working." But we're very, very poor at saying what actually does work. So you don't have to give everybody song and verse, but just every now and again saying, "Yeah, I've had a good day today. I've got some good responses. I was in the right chats, the right groups at the right time." So you don't want to be in retirement groups at 10 o'clock at night because they're all in the bloody bed, aren't they? You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
just little things like that, yeah. Uh,
yeah.
cruise groups they can be quite hard as well because if you're going away for 12 days, you sometimes you don't get very much internet, do you? But
No.
it's all about working what you've got here. So yes, there's groups I'm in. I know what time of day that's the best for it, but you get that feel, and the more times you do it. So the more times you go into those groups at a certain time, if you're getting good responses from that, then that's the time to go in. If you go in other times and there's no response, and guess what? That's what I'm talking about. That's when you review things, write it down. So I know that I go into specific groups that are abroad, so I've got to get into them before 5 o'clock, or I've got to get into them after 10 o'clock. You know what I mean? Just so I know that people are going to respond. So, and it's just like I have it written down what group to go in and at what time of day. So it keeps me right. Yeah. So we're very good with the goals. Yeah, we want the goal. We want reviews of what's working. So I want to hear from you next week that you focused for however long it could be. It could be, I don't want to be less than 5 because it's a waste of time, but more than 5 to 45. And then the following week, we'll improve that and improve that and improve that until we can do 45 minutes, get lots of questions done. And yeah, you focus on your DMO, what works. All right.
Mhm.
So nobody else got anything?
Sounds like a plan to me, Julian.
Well, I do try, mate. I do try. They call
Yeah.
me Hannibal. I love it when a plan comes together.
Are you going to a conference in November, Julian, or not? In London?
Yes, I'll be there. Yeah,
Yeah. I'll go.
I very rarely miss them. I had to miss the last one in May because I was going away, and I've never been back up in time to fly away somewhere else, so I had to miss that one. But yeah, I'm actually back from Singapore, so I'm in Singapore for a week, and then I come back to straight to that one.
Maria's been to a few, but I've never been to one because I'm done with the dog sitter.
Oh, all right, okay. Well, you can always sit week about.
I kind of get anybody to sit four dogs.
We have that with our
But
grandchildren.
this time I've managed, so I'm all right.
All right, lovely, brilliant. Are you staying over, or are you just going down for the day?
Sorry?
Are you staying over, or are you going just
Yeah,
down?
yeah, yeah. Going down on Friday, coming back on Sunday.
Oh, nice one.
Because I think it's Remembrance Sunday on the Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah,
Senator.
yeah, it'll be very busy. Very busy on the Sunday. In town, but obviously flying and that should be okay. Yeah, so I'll be there for that. Also, there's one being just released in Scotland,
Mm.
near Scotland that wants to go to Scotland. There's one there, 22 quid. Mr. Bradley's going to be there. David DeCosta, uh, Caroline Hamilton, and um, oh, Lindsay Milton. Now, Lindsay Milton is the actual director. Oh, nice one, Glenn. I'll see you there then. Um, yeah, so she's a director in Scotland in Edinburgh. So she's one of Caroline Hamilton's and one of her DITs, which was a couple, male and female, have recently gone to One Star. When he was doing presentations for me or with me 6 months ago, he was DIT and now he's a fully fledged, director with his wife. So yep, it's there. It's there. We just need to pick the right berries and sow the right seeds, as it were, and I'm sure we'll get there. Right, excellent. Obviously, this has been recorded, and I shall now